Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules!
Let's begin by drilling into some fracking history.
Fracking first began in the 1860s when one brave soldier dropped a bomb down a well. The first commercial frack occurred in 1949. Whoa! Which is also the same year the Soviets dropped the first atomic bomb and television was introduced.
Did you know 72 trillion gallons of water and 360 billion gallons of chemicals are needed to run the wells in the United States? That's a lot of fracking water.
Now you know!
Now let's kick it over to our fracking expert, Dr. Frackenstein.
Hello, children. I'm Dr. Frackenstein. I understand you have some questions about fracking. You have some fracking questions. Let me begin. Fracking is where we are going to start pulling out natural gas from shale that's found underneath the ground. We're going to use this as a model of what's going on underneath the ground. Down on here, the lower section, if my marker were to work, down here you might have some shale. This shale might contain some natural gas. What these gas companies are starting to do now is be able to drill holes all the way down. And look, they can even bend that little hole. Look at that. Look at that. And what they're going to do is they're going to pump down all kinds of nasty stuff or good stuff. We don't really know. They don't have to tell us. They're going to pump stuff down into the ground down here that's going to cause that shale to crack. And what they're able to do is then pull up all of this nice natural gas that we then can sell.
Now let's take a closer look at the problem.
First, a shaft is drilled several hundred meters into the earth. From there, a horizontal hole is drilled into the gas-bearing layer of rock. Next, the fracking fluid is pumped into the ground using high-performance pumps. On average, the fluid consists of 8 million litres of water, which amounts to about the daily consumption of 65,000 people, plus several thousand tons of sand and about 200,000 litres of chemicals. The mixture penetrates into the rock layer and produces innumerable tiny cracks. The sand prevents the cracks from closing again.
Let's kick it on over to Dr. Frankenstein.
And what do we do with this natural gas, you ask? Good question. This natural gas heats your home, powers vehicles, powers industry. It helps the whole economy afloat. So why do we care? What's the fracking problem with this? I'll show you. Follow me. See, the problem is all these chemicals are left in the ground. Well, these poor homes are sitting right over here. They need water. They're going to pump up water from this groundwater, and now it contains all these chemicals that we don't even know what they are. Sometimes containing benzene, which is a very known harsh carcinogen.
Did you know that 82% of the wells tested contained methane, a very common emission to the environment? Now you know!
The U.S. federal system is set up by two separate entities. There's the federal level and the state level. They both have equal responsibility, but are in control of two different sectors. Where the issue lies with fracking policies is the federal policies, they're not doing much. So you can pretty much erase it. And so it's left to the state, and that's a pretty little cake.
The Energy Policy Act is one of the few things that addresses fracking at the federal level. The term
underground injection means A, the subsurface emplacement of fluids by well injection, and B, excludes the underground injection of natural gases for purposes of storage, and 2, the underground injection of fluids or propping agents other than diesel fuels pursuant to hydraulic fracturing operations related to oil, gas, geothermal production, etc.
Basically, what this means is that the federal government regulates the process of fracking, but not what's used to frack. This is where the problem lies because many of the chemicals used are contaminating the water. This is where the states are stepping in to take action against these companies.
In both 2009 and 2011, congressmen have introduced the FRACT Act, Fracturing Responsibility and Chemicals Awareness Act, to both houses of Congress. It has never been passed, though.
Now you know! Now let's drill into some states that are very fractive today.
First, let's start with Wyoming, or as we like to call it, West Dakota, the Forgotten State. So Wyoming has been one of the most active in fracking. They require full disclosure of chemicals utilized in fracking, unlike most states. In addition to Wyoming, Pennsylvania, located approximately here, is also very fractive today. Let's drill into their current policy.
In addition to the full disclosure of chemicals utilized during fracking, Pennsylvania prohibits local governments from interfering with the regulation of fracking. This is entirely left up to the state.
There are a lot of experiments that you can do at home to learn about huge scientific ideas. You don't need a special lab. Your lab can be anywhere, because science is something we do all the time, everywhere we go.
Hey.
Oh, hey, kids.
Hey! Today we're going to do an experiment that you can do at home. So we're going to demonstrate why they use sand. Common household sand here. To do fracking. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly pour some water in our cups of regular dirt, sand, and rocks to see which one can hold the most water.
I hope it's sand.
Oh, mine's overflowing.
The rocks are no good.
That's just too much water. We don't want that much.
No, that's bad.
Yeah, and this is just not holding very much water at all.
Oh wow, sand's working really well right now.
So that, kids, is why they use sand when they're fracking.
See how the sand took the most water? That's what makes it the best in fracking.
Did you know that?
Hey.
Did you know that only 30 to 50% of the fracturing fluid is recovered? The rest of the toxic fluid is left behind and is not biodegradable.
Now you know! So what's the fracking problem?
Methane emissions, contaminated water,
Resource depletion,
unstable ground,
no disclosure,
Danger to food supply,
the murder of innocent animals.
Well, hello, children. As you can see, there's lots of pros and potential cons from fracking. We could have some big fracking problems if we don't pay attention to what's going on there, what's going on in the ground. We have a lot of fracking energy if we keep up with this. So we are at the balance in the future, the risks and the benefits moving forward.
Fracking. It causes harm to the environment. So what can they do to change that? Well, kids, first, they can stop using methane to power the process, and instead use natural gas. This will reduce the amount of air pollution in the environment. Also, part of the FRAC Act states that companies should have to fully disclose what chemicals they are using in the process of fracking. Also, another major problem is water pollution, and so a solution to this would be to dispose of the water properly.
Yo, guys, the environment is something to respect. That's why our government is making policies to show it respect. Rules apply to all activities, including fracking. Using hydraulic pressure, it's shale they're cracking. Companies gotta play by the rules, meeting the environment's demands. Getting the EPA, setting quotas, and taking surveys. Don't let just anyone play on our land. Bigger amounts of gas, making production last, keeping prices down. I know that should please the crowd, but back to the doubt about the fracking industry. Companies are closer to solutions in reality. Using natural gas itself to power the process. Trying to use reinforced concrete on the real, so chill. might make the stock hit higher, have them looking to retire, all with the solemn promise to make production higher on natural gas. Trying to switch it in place of your car's gas, maybe making fracking last. But they need less spills. Could they use some smaller drills? Nah, cause that'll take skills. Previously stated, the government itself has initiated programs to make sure these things are continuously debated. Shout out Grimy Grimes, G Rhymes, Busta Grimes. I'm out.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.